I'm very bright, but I also have a lot of lights next to me to help out. So I'm gonna talk about ISO today and how you can make it work for your different situations in photography. Let's go ahead and do it. ISO is essentially how much light your camera sees. So ISO would determine if you get a darker picture or if you get a lighter picture, and it also determines how much grain you get. ISO, you'd want to have ideally at the lowest number possible. So 100, 200, 300 are ideal for most situations where you want to get clear photos, but there's next to no grain. But at the same time, having a lower ISO is not always ideal because it depends on where you are and obviously how much light is available. So the darker an image is, so for example, let's say we're outside and it's pitch black, you're not going to see anything on a camera. But if you have your ISO cranked up to like 12,000, you'll see something. But you'll realize that if you see on the screen, even the small screen of your camera, or if you see it when you get it on a computer or develop or something, you'll notice there's a lot of grain. So that means that your camera is working harder to get the picture to show up, which means there'll be more grain. And obviously the software that you can use to minimize the grain, but at the same time, it's going to affect your quality substantially. So definitely try to keep your ISO on the low. So ISO is really important to prioritize as well because you're going to want to have everything working pretty well. And the cool thing is, if you want to play the ISO even more and kind of sometimes keep it even the same, especially if it's like, let's say if it's really bright, you want to have a lower ISO, but then you want to have a slightly darker picture, get an ND filter. An ND filter will make sure that your photo is darker, but you're at 100 ISO, so it really works both ways. And an ND filter in the simplest form is just basically, it puts it on the end of a lens, and then that part will make it darker or not as much brighter, but more so to normal or to dark. And that will make sure that your picture kind of remains, not blown out in terms of overexposed or certain things. Definitely look into an ND filter. And the other thing I want to say is a flash. A flash is really important because especially in low light, you're going to want to see that things are not, too grainy or something. So a flash will basically create that light that you need. It'll act as your like sun per se, and that'll be your how to get your light in your photo. And that also mean you can manipulate light in terms of like, you can put things differently and certain stuff. So like I have a light over here. Let's see if you can see it. I have a light over here, and as you can see, it's changing as I show it on the camera. But a flash is similar, where if you put a flash, you're gonna have a different ways to put the light and shine on people, and it'll also freeze the person in time because of like the flash. That's the single time it'll take photos. So definitely look into a flash for nighttime photography because that'll really help you with low light, and definitely look into an ND filter because that'll help you in bright light where you want to have it darker or if you want to have nothing blown out. So these are things that'll really help you with your ISO, and also just experiment with it and make sure you get the effect that you want, and just keep your grain low unless that's what you're really going for. But usually you'd want to get that added in the software, not as much in the natural photo. I really hope you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. If you liked it, please comment and subscribe down below because I'd really love to hear from all of you and really have you along for the videos that I'm making. I have a lot of social media, so if you want to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, I have all of it. I'd love to talk to some of you and get some ideas for some of the videos that I'm making. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye.